Also ich wurde verurteilt zu 2 Jahren und 8 Monaten wegen gefährlicher Körperverletzung und bin nach 1 Jahr und 11 Monaten zur Bewährung entlassen worden.
Ich wurde wegen Verstoß gegen das Betäubungsmittelgesetz zu 3 Jahren, 10 Monaten verurteilt. Ich habe mit Marihuana gehandelt.
Also ich habe ein Urteil von 2 Jahren bekommen wegen gefährlicher Körperverletzung und davon habe ich circa 1,5 Jahre in der Haftanstalt verbracht.
Ich wurde verurteilt wegen Körperverletzung und unerlaubten Handeltreiben mit BTM zu insgesamt 3 Jahren und 6 Monaten Freiheitsstrafe. Davon habe ich 2 Jahre und 6 Monate verbüßt.
Also durch meine Teilnahme bei Leonhard hat sich eigentlich mein komplettes Leben verändert. Was für mich wichtig war, war diese Persönlichkeitsentwicklung, die auch gemacht wird. Weil da war mein absolutes Defizit. Ich war nicht gesellschaftsfähig, würde ich fast sagen. Ja.
Ich habe wieder Ziele vor Augen gekriegt. Ich habe wieder eine Perspektive entdeckt. Ich habe wieder nach vorne geschaut.
Man geht mit einem ganz anderen Bewusstsein und Selbstbewusstsein aus der Haft raus, als jemand, der halt, ich weiß nicht, 4 Jahre lang Lego zusammengebaut hat.
Bisher war es immer mehr planlos, ohne feste Ziele und dann ist man halt immer wieder in irgendwas abgerutscht, mit den falschen Leuten zusammen und das jetzt nicht mehr.
Und als ich dann beim Kurs selber war, hat es keine Woche gedauert, bis ich gewusst habe, das war die beste Entscheidung, die ich wahrscheinlich in meinem Leben getroffen habe. Und während diesen 20 Wochen hat sich einfach bei mir rauskristallisiert, was ich eigentlich wirklich im Leben noch erreichen möchte. Und das war halt der Punkt, wo ich gesagt habe, okay, kann ich aber nicht. Ich würde gern irgendwo im sozialen Bereich arbeiten, aber das kann ich nicht. Und dann wurde mir halt 20 Wochen erklärt, wenn du das willst, kannst du das. Und irgendwann war es halt so weit, dass auch ich es geglaubt habe, dass ich es kann.
Wenn man jetzt einen normalen Menschen auf der Straße fragen würde, pass mal auf, was ist dein Traum? Aber jemanden dann das beizubringen, das ist schon super. Das muss man auch mal erstmal können.
Weil es ist ja nicht mit dem Unternehmerischen dann abgetan, sondern es kommen viele, viele Referenten von der Wirtschaft, aus dem Coaching-Bereich, aus allen möglichen Branchen, die ihre Geschichten erzählen, die dir ihr Wissen vermitteln. Und du kriegst einfach einen Einblick in so ein breites Spektrum, das hätte ich mir draußen niemals vorstellen können.
Es ging da um verschiedene Werte, ob das jetzt Ehrlichkeit, Authentizität und so weiter ist. Und die haben wir viel gebraucht.
Das Leonhard-Programm ist einfach dahingehend eine ganz wichtige Geschichte, weil es den Leuten zum allerersten Mal, vielen zum allerersten Mal, mir auch zum allerersten Mal, eine ganz andere Perspektive gibt, als diese Tretmühle, in der ich vorher gewesen bin.
Das Wichtigste ist, dass sie dir deine Probleme nicht abnehmen. Sie helfen dir nur dabei. Weil wenn sie das abnehmen, dann stehst du dann auch wieder da und weißt wieder nicht, was du machen sollst. Die helfen dir nur, dass du selber lernst, wie du deine Probleme löst.
Ja, das Problem ist, dass viele keinen Anlaufpunkt haben, wenn die rauskommen. Das ist das größte Problem, weil dann ist es automatisch vorprogrammiert, dass man wieder in die alte Schiene kommt. Man kennt ja nichts anderes. Das, was ich von meinem Mentor bekommen habe zum Beispiel, hätte ich so am Anfang nicht erwartet. Ich dachte, das werden ein paar seichte Gespräche und wir schauen mal ein bisschen. Aber ich bin eines Besseren belehrt worden und das ist sehr, sehr gut.
Privates Treffen oder am Telefon oder per E-Mail oder in der heutigen Zeit mit sozialen Netzwerken. Man hat immer die Chance, mit Leonhard in Kontakt zu bleiben. Und das ist auf dem Rückweg in die Gesellschaft ein extrem wichtiger Punkt. Durch dieses Persönlichkeitstraining, individuelles Coaching, egal was da alles angeboten wird, hat sich bei mir einfach meine ganze Denkweise über mich selber, über andere, über den Umgang mit Problemen, über den Umgang mit der Gesellschaft, das hat sich bei mir einfach während dieser 20 Wochen komplett gedreht.
Ich bin seit 1995 von meiner ersten Frau geschieden. Und seit circa 6 Monaten lebe ich wieder mit ihr zusammen. Das heißt, also, wir haben eine neue Beziehung begonnen. Und weil ich mich unter anderem auch durch diese ganze Werteunterrichte und viele andere Dinge geändert habe.
Ich habe für mich gelernt, meine Ziele klar zu definieren und das auch durchzuziehen und nicht wieder irgendwas anzufangen und das schnellstmöglich wieder abzubrechen. Vieles habe ich schon erreicht. Ich bin mit meiner Familie wieder im Reinen, die Ausbildung angefangen.
Also ich arbeite heute dann in meinem Traumberuf, würde ich sagen.
Ich mache gerade eine Weiterbildung, Vollzeit-Weiterbildung zum IT-Systemkaufmann.
Man muss es wirklich anerkennen, dass es sehr, sehr viele Leute gibt, die tatsächlich, wie zum Beispiel mein Mentor, jetzt auch über diese Zeit noch hinaus und eigentlich über sein ja, ich weiß nicht, zugesagtes Engagement hinaus die Leute unterstützen.
Ich bin dankbar dafür, dass sie auf die Idee überhaupt gekommen sind, dass sie sowas machen. Ich bin dankbar dafür, dass sie es trotz mit Sicherheit Schwierigkeiten durchgezogen haben. Und ich bin extrem dankbar, dass ich Teil davon sein durfte.
Dazu gehören natürlich auch die ganzen Leute, die unterstützen, die dabei waren. Ich habe, wie gesagt, mit vielen Leuten bei den Veranstaltungen gesprochen und die mir immer wieder bestärkt haben, das ist gut, das mach. Und darum werde ich es auch machen und dafür sage ich Danke.
I'm happy to say hello to all of you here. And today is a quite unusual EO event because I have the feeling today we have more guests than EO people here. And this introduction might become a little longer because I have to say hello to all of you. First of all, I'd like to thank our guest speaker, Gayton McKenzie, and his girlfriend Lara for coming all the way from South Africa. Then we have managed to make this into a co-EO YPO event, thanks to Tobias. And you brought along, I don't know if it's Sabine. That's all from YPO? Okay, well.
So far you joined the YPO.
I know you're a little stronger, but I'm happy to have you here as well. Thank you very much for coming. We have a few people from Ashoka. There's two there, and I think one is still on the waiting list to come. Ashoka, for those of you who don't know it, is an organization that is supporting social entrepreneurship. I think worldwide, right?
Yes.
Okay. We have EOers here, of course. I don't need to introduce all those. And then, of course, we have the management team and the founders, initiators from Leonard, which is essentially the core of today's event. Maren and her father Dermot, the initiators. Martin, I think you will get to know Martin a little more afterwards. And is it just the three? Am I forgetting somebody? Oh, that's right. I thought that's me as well.
And Philip as well.
Correct. You will be introduced later on. Now, I have the feeling I've forgotten some guests. Can you raise your hand if I have? Okay.
Prospects for EO?
Sorry?
EO prospects?
No, they are EO.
Okay.
Prospects are EO.
Our hosts today?
Sorry?
Pöllat and Partner, our hosts.
Yes, I was going to say thank you to Pöllat and Partner, who are unfortunately not represented here right now. Van Kleiner, who's our contact, might join us later, we'll see. This event was supposed to start quite small, and I was put in touch with Leonard through Nicholas Rice. Right? So he's the guy who's responsible that we're all sitting together here. Gayton will tell you I'm responsible for getting him, but really you're responsible. I thought EO always talks about we do once-in-a-lifetime experiences, once-in-a-lifetime events. So I thought, for most of us, I hope, going into prison is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Right? So some of us did this morning. And then when I first spoke to Maren and her team, and we talked what they were going to do, I had this idea. I thought, I've listened to somebody. I know somebody who's gone through this. I know somebody who's been in prison, and he's come out, and he's now completely turned his life around. This was in 2010, when EO had a university, to those of you who are not EOs, universities are essentially conferences, international conferences in Cape Town. And by the way, this was one of the best universities, EO universities I ever attended. And I was lucky enough to also listen to Gayton speak. And I was really impressed, not just by his story, but I was moved by what he told us as well. And so I just thought I'd contact him and see if he wants to speak. And I told him, look, there's this program teaching prisoners entrepreneurship. Do you think we could arrange something? You come and speak here in Germany. And he said, yep, I'll come in October. And I thought, no, let's see if that works out. So yesterday morning, 6:30, he landed in Frankfurt. We had a great event last night in Frankfurt. It took ages. I think we got in the car at 11:30. We didn't talk much on the way. I just tried to keep my eyes open. They tried to sleep. And we had a great morning this morning in Stadelheim. And now we'll soon be listening to Gayton's life story. This will be about 40-minute talk, and then questions and answers, something like that. And then after that we'll have a short break, and then I've asked Bernhard to tell his story, which is very interesting in its own right. Bernhard is a ex-IT entrepreneur. You tell your story yourself, and then he just saw this idea of prisoner entrepreneurship programs, and he just stopped everything he was doing. Myron did the same thing, and together they said, this is something really great. It's rewarding, and it's got potential, and they've been doing this for some time. And you will be introducing your program. There'll be some people here who will give us a different perspective of the program. Then after that, we'll have time to enjoy dinner and talk. So, welcome, and thanks for coming, Gayton. It's your stage now.
After Melbourne, thank you. Yeah, I feel a bit better today. I feel better than yesterday, but basically, before I tell my story, I will just start by telling you that I'm an ex-gangster that got involved in crime at an early age, that eventually ended up in jail for bank robbery. So I was involved in my first bank robbery at a very early age. But I'll tell you all about that. The reason why I'm mentioning this is there's a friend of mine in South Africa that was an alcoholic. And I asked the person caring for him, how can I assist him? And he said, you just keep him away from places that might tempt him. You keep him away from clubs, from bars. I'm like, well, I can do that. So as the ex-bank robber, I was told yesterday that my talk is going to be at the Deutsche Bank. And I was wondering, isn't it a bit too early for me to be going into banks again? But if I knew that I'm going to be speaking at the lawyer's firm today, I might have tried something yesterday. Guys, on the most serious note, what I'd like to share with you today is that I once heard a story by so many motivational speakers, and I didn't really understand it until it happened in my life. The story, you might have heard the story too. It's about a guy walking on the beach, seafront, and he has hundreds and thousands of starfishes. And he threw one in, and he walked and threw a second one in back in the sea. And one person came to me and said, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time, and can you see the hundreds and thousands of these things? I mean, it doesn't make a difference. And he said, well, it might not make a difference to the others. but it sure makes a difference to the one that I pick up. Now you might wonder what's the relevance of the story. Let me tell you. I grew up in apartheid South Africa. Apartheid South Africa, in short, is basically where the black men exist to serve the white men. Where the black men being taught onto education in order to serve the white men. That was South Africa 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. My father, my grandfather, my uncles, and everybody I know would work for the rest of their lives and they would have no money. They would be exploited. And I said to myself, the only black men I see that are alpha males, that are free, are the criminals. They don't report to nobody. And I said, that's what I want to become. I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to be like my grandfather. And I got involved in crime at an early age. Got involved in my first bank robbery at the age of 16. At the age of 18, I was one of the most wanted bank robbers. At the age of 20, I was arrested and sentenced to 17 years in jail. Now I need to explain something to you about prison for you to understand what I'm going to talk about. In African prisons, I was saying to the guys earlier in prison, and they agreed with me. I said to them that Roskamp, which is the guy that, Roskamp is the guy that makes all this prison, visit all the prisons, visit all the gangs around the world, and he makes these documentaries. Maybe some of you would know who he is. And he said, when he went to our prison in South Africa, he said he has never been so scared in his life. He said he interviewed a guy that's not even so scary. And he said, that was the scariest person I've ever seen in my life. And I have interviewed gangsters from all over. Now I'm giving you an idea of some of the prisons in South Africa, or Africa. I then went into jail. Now you gotta understand how African prisons work compared to the, at least the hotels that you guys got here. but in all African prisons, it's the numbers game that rules. The numbers game. So you get the 26 game, which is the capitalist of the system. They're the guys that rob people of their money. You get a 27 game, which is the guys that step and kill people. You get a 28 game, which is the guys that rape and molest people. You get the big fives. These are the guys that inform. And then you get the Royal Air Force. They're the guys that escaped from prison. Can't tell you much about them because they're never there. But yeah. I became a member of the 26 gang. And if you told me I would change my life, my family, people we knew, everybody tried to change me. And I said earlier, nobody can change you. People can help you to change. That's a lie. Anybody that said, I changed that person, or we change, no, you can't change people. Change doesn't come from the outside. It's something that comes from the inside out. So you cannot sit here and say you're changing people. And people have tried to change me. And one day, I saw something so horrible, so despicable that I had no other choice but to change my life. We're sitting in a cell, in a prison cell. And there was 88 guys in the prison cell. And the young boy coming into the prison is between ages of 11 and 14. I didn't know his real age. But that kid got raped in that jail cell. Got raped by 18 men. There was blood all over the floor. Blood on the walls, blood against the walls, blood against the curtains. He cried, he screamed, he begged. No one helped him. I was there. I didn't help that boy. They raped that child that evening for the whole night. They raped him for 9 hours. And the following day, he was laying in the corridor, naked, shivering in his own pool of blood. And everybody jumped over him. And everybody jumped over him. And just as I was about to jump over him, I looked at him and I said to him, I think you need to go to the cops. And he said to me, I can't walk. These gangsters killed me. And I was a gangster. And I couldn't believe that he refers to me the same way that he would refer to the people that did this to him. And I picked him up and I took him to the police, the prison police. And they wanted nothing to do with him. And I said to him, listen, I'm going to make you a promise. I'm going to look after you. I'm going to try to protect you. and I'm going to expose those people. And he managed to crack a smile because I was like, me exposing the people how? I called my mom. I said to my mom, Mom, I need you to buy me a book on how to operate a secret video camera. My mom was so happy that she heard that I'm even attempting to change my life. But she sent me, instead of one book, she sent me, I think 7, 8 books to change. I started reading those books, I started studying those books. For months, I studied those books. And I took all the money I had and I bought secret video cameras on the outside. Together with 4 of my friends, we smuggled in those videos and kept in prison. Bit by bit, part by part, screw by screw. And we made a video. Most people have seen the video on the Oprah Winfrey show. The video was shown all over the world. It was the biggest prison expose ever. And I remember the evening, this was 2002, the evening before the show came out, my 3 other friends looked at me and they said to me, gee, what's going to happen to us now? I said, what do you mean? He said, it's going to be shown on TV, what's going to happen to us? I said, listen man, you can take my words to the bank. We are going to be famous and Nelson Mandela is going to invite us to have tea with him. He said, really? I said, yeah, I've been inviting everyone. Nelson Mandela will invite us. And that evening, I've never misjudged anything like that. When the video appeared right around the world, the prison authorities were so angry that they started to victimize us. One of the many things they did is, one was poisoning our food. So we only lived on dry bread. The second brutal thing they did to us, they put 4 of us, in a cell in the middle of winter, -5 degrees. They broke the windows and they gave us wet blankets. I've never in my life felt so cold. I thought I'm going to die. But that day, while thinking I'm going to die, I learned the most important lesson of my life. The power of laughing. Humor is everything. We were shivering under this blanket. I mean, we were literally shivering. And my one friend said, gee, I really would like to have that cup of coffee even if Mandela doesn't pitch up. And we burst out laughing. And it took us away. It made us forget about what we were experiencing. And there's this journalist called Matata Teru of the Sunday Times. I managed to get a message to him of what they're doing to us. And he managed to put that on the front page newspaper, the front page of the biggest daily in South Africa. And we were told only, I think, 4 months thereafter that Nelson Mandela and people started to intervene. And we were released from jail. And that is what I want to speak to you guys about today. I walked out of jail full of hope, very enthusiastic. I wanted to take on life. And I looked for a job because I got a criminal record. Nobody wanted to give me an opportunity. And one day, after going to hundreds of places unsuccessfully, not finding a job, I went to the school. I went to a high school called St. Michael's. I walked into the high school, I said to the principal, sir, may I speak to your kids? And he said, yeah, speak to them, give them a talk. I gave them a talk and I went home, got home, my mom was in tears. She was crying. I said, Mommy, what's wrong? She said, what did you do again? I said, I don't understand, Mom. She said, yeah, you did something. I said, why? I did nothing. She said, yes, because there's a big white man looking for you. Now when you come from jail, you already hear the white people are looking for you in South Africa. And I asked my mom, where is he? She said, behind you. And I turned around and the man said, he said, that Gayton McKenzie went to my child's school. And I got 2 boys in that school. And he transformed their lives with one talk. They gave me drugs, they gave me dope. They said they are done with these things. They're scared of going to jail. And he changed it with this talk. I said, all right. He said, and I'm here to come and give Mr. McKenzie something to show him how happy I am. They took out his checkbook, and I took out my passport, and I gave it to him. And he offered me a job at Sharp Security. The job was, I was paid $100 per month. I took that $100 and I started a seafood company. It was $100. I would buy fish, crayfish, lobster, everything, and I would sell it. I would buy it from the guys that catch it. And I would, in Cape Town, I would sell it in Johannesburg. So for every $100 I spent, I used to make back $500. That's how I started building this business. And I bought one truck. Eventually I bought a second truck. Eventually I bought a third truck. And I ended up having 60 trucks in the business. And I sold, just prior to me selling that business, I wrote my life story in a book. It's called The Choice, the Gayton McKenzie story. I wrote my first book together with a writer. And it became one of the biggest selling books in South Africa. It became a national bestseller first. I had visits from very famous people like Denzel Washington. I had visits from a lot of people that wanted for me to turn it into a movie. And things were going very well for myself. I started a business called X Concepts. And I started hiring ex-prisoners. After hiring a lot of ex-prisoners, if I get involved in any deal, one of the things I require from my involvement is for them to hire ex-prisoners. I then took that money and I got involved in mining. And we own a substantial stake in one of the biggest mines in the world called Goldfields. I did Goldfields' biggest empowerment deal. Goldfields is one of the biggest gold mines in the world. I got involved in different mines. I got involved in Zimbabwe. I've got gold mines in Zimbabwe. I've got diamond mines in Uganda. But that's not what I speak to you about today. I would love to sit here and say to you that I have achieved those things on my own. But I didn't. Nobody makes it on their own. I was helped by people. People like you that take your time to listen to people like me, take your time to attend programs like the Heroes Foundation programs. There's a lady called Ria. She taught me how to speak not like a gangster. She taught me a lot of things in life. She taught me how to eat with a fork and knife. She taught me so many things. She did it out of the kindness of her heart. There's people like Mr. Greg James that taught me business along the way. And I want to say to you today, I'm responsible for getting more than 4,000 ex-prisoners in Africa into jobs. I am the biggest guy when it comes to getting ex-prisoner jobs. And I mention these things to you to tell you as business people, as entrepreneurs, that the only way to fight crime very successfully is for you to help to make fewer criminals, in order that there be fewer criminals on the street, is for you to help the guys. Some of us has never made mistakes that will take you to jail, but some did, and those guys deserve a second chance. And I want to say to you, sometimes, unlike the starfish, where you just put one bag in the water, you get a guy like me. By helping me, you've helped every person that has ever gotten a job from me, that has ever gotten an opportunity from me. And I want to say to you that my story is truly a story that can be a story of any prisoner in Germany. I am the most successful author on the African continent as I'm speaking to you. I wrote a second book called A Hustler's Bible. So everybody used to ask me, how did you make money? How did you make money? And then I brought out this book, which within a week became the national best, became one of the top selling books. I was speaking to Carl a week ago, and I said to him, I'm writing a new book. He said, what's it about? I said, this book is only for females. It's about my experiences and what women can learn. So in order mistakes that I have seen from the streets. And after I spoke to him, I sent him a mail. The morning I told him the book is going out. And within 8 hours I sent him the proof and a photo. Within 8 hours it became the biggest selling book in Africa. Now the reason why I'm mentioning these things is to tell you that none of what I've achieved would have been possible without people that believed in me. I was taken to a prison today, and I saw the guys in prison there. I saw guys that's not remorseful, and I saw guys that's truly remorseful. I saw guys there that will forget what I said the moment I walk out of there. But I saw guys that would never forget until they die what I spoke about today with them. I saw guys there today that I think they can far better than myself. They are more intelligent. They know more things. They're more educated. And all that. If a guy like me, if I use my chance to become who I am today, anybody can do that. If people can meet people, more people like yourself. It's very easy. It's very easy to judge anyone in jail. I know of a person that told me once, he would never help any prisoner. He came from the 2010 Soccer World Cup in South Africa. He was involved in a car accident. But when they checked that his blood, he had 2 glasses of wine extra. And 4 people died, and he's now doing 20 years in our prison system. I mention these things to you to tell you that we are all connected some way or another. I mention these things to you to tell you that I am not special. I met special people that helped me. I was saying to you that you live in, whatever you can say about Germany, you guys got one thing that I wish my continent can have. Free education. You guys are giving free education. We live in a wonderful country. Hence, one of my other businesses is to connect African businessmen with international businessmen. Because we want to get the entrepreneur that's now in South Africa, that's now in Africa, the one that pays bribes, the one that doesn't look after the environment, the one that destroys the trees. We want to get those type of people out of our country. And the only way to do that is to get new people, to come into our continent. So if you are here today and there's anything that you want to do far away from Germany, I can give you assurance at no cost to you that we will help you, because we need new kinds of people in our continent. And I want to say to you, thank you, because I was helped by people like you. People like you. You are business people. And I always say to people, if you want a solution to anything, go to the entrepreneurs. Go to them. They got a solution for everything. Listen, I can tell you, because their livelihood depends on finding solutions to problems that face them. They can't wait for a salary check at the end of the month. Like whether he's going to sort out this problem or not, I'm going to get my check anyway. No, he's got to make it work. I mean, I was telling Carl a story, I was laughing, I said inside. I was told a story about this one Muslim kid that was in a Christian class, a class full of Christians. And his father's arrangement with the school was very simple. My child will not be part of any Jesus prayers. The school understood that very well. Every time they would pray, he would go out. And one day the teacher said, for $100, who can tell me who is the most powerful man on earth? But he was in the class. And everybody started saying, George Bush, no. Nelson Mandela, no. Barack Obama, no. And they mentioned every possible powerful person. And he said then, he looked at the teacher, and she said, yes, Mohammed? He said, ma'am, the most powerful man on earth is our dear Lord Jesus Christ. And she said, you're right, Muhammad, come take the $100. And just as he took the $100, she said, Muhammad, are you a Christian now? He said, no, man, I'm still a Muslim, but business is business. So I want to say to you that I came all the way to Germany because I heard what the foundation is doing. You guys are sitting with a great big prison population in this country. I saw 1,400 prisoners, and I was saying to the guys today in prison, I said, listen, man, you don't need to steal in Germany. I come from a third world country where I can understand kind of why people sometimes resort to stealing. But I want to say to you that you can make your jails empty. And your jail is already beautiful. I tell you, I was looking at your jail and I didn't really believe I'm in prison. And you can empty your jails. And I want to ask you, please get involved with the foundation. I'm going to get involved. I'm going to give them money. I'm going to see what I can do for them. Because we need each other. If you want to go to Africa, I will be there for you. And if there's anything, any question that you might have that you didn't understand what I said to you today, I want to say to you, I will not leave this podium and answer each and every question that you might have. This country is a beautiful country. And I want to say to the people I met here, you are great people. I want to say thank you to the people of the foundation. And my dear friend Carl, you, the EO guys, they went to Cape Town, 2010. And there was 2 speakers. And I was the last speaker, there's 2 speakers before me. It was all the guys from EO that was not from South Africa. I don't know where they got that speaker from, but he said something to them. And I was looking at them and he said to them, guys, you are all born in Africa, you are all connected to Africa, you are actually from Africa without knowing it. And I looked at the speaker and what are you talking about? Because these people, are you colorblind or something? And he insisted and he explained to the EO guys why are they from Africa. It was my turn to speak. I said to them, well, I would have said to you, welcome to South Africa, but seeing that you are home already, I just want to say it's nice to have you back. So, I want to say to you guys that when I was contacted by Carl and he mentioned EO, I was already, he got my interest. It just so happened that I was speaking to, I look at it now, speaking to 2 guys today. We had a very good discussion about music. And one of the things they do, they handle people's Twitter accounts. And they work with Twitter. And I said to them, I got 55,000 Twitter followers. And so the way he looked at me is like, I'm going to have to go check this out. And he said something to me that Germans love traditional music. They're not loud about it, but they love it. And he didn't know. It made me feel so good because yesterday, yesterday evening or 4 o'clock this morning, I know I switched the TV on. There was some traditional music on. And I kind of enjoy it. And my girlfriend said, I think it's time to go home. You enjoy German music. So I want to say, when I heard that even Germans enjoy traditional music, I was very happy. Guys, you live in a great country. And you should never, ever forget that. We sometimes forget, you look at what's happening in Africa, there's Ebola. And we Africans that's living in the southern tip of Africa, we try to avoid the guys from West Africa. And on all our airports, they got all these Ebola screens and it's just going crazy. And I was saying to my girlfriend, I'm like, I'm not traveling the week. I'm not traveling until they sort out this Ebola problem to West Africa. And we try to avoid shaking hands with people that we know come from West Africa. And we came to Germany. And she said at the airport, she said, yeah, at least now we can relax. And then we had lunch yesterday with a very good friend, Holger, and his girlfriend. They're Germans. And the first thing they said, like, oh, we're so sick, you know, we had such a high fever the whole time. And we've been in bed for 3 weeks, and she said to me in our local English, oh my God, we fucked. She said, we've been avoiding Ebola all the way to Africa, now we're going to come and get it in Germany. So I want to say to you that you live in a country that if you had to have Ebola, it will be sorted out. I come from Africa. And never forget that you live in a great country. We sometimes tend to badmouth our country. We sometimes tend to talk like, yeah, they do this in Germany, but I can tell you that I would love Africa. I said on my Twitter account yesterday, I said, and I got so many responses from people on Facebook, Twitter, I said, I'm in Germany, I can understand a country with no really mineral resources being so splendid, beautiful and rich. And I said, I cry for Africa. And that went viral. It was in all today's newspapers. What I said yesterday, back home, you live in a beautiful country, I mean it. And I want to stretch my hand out and say to you, if there's anything that you think you can do for Africa, let me connect you to people in Africa that will do good business with you. And the work that you do, Bernard, for me, I take my hat off to you. I was making, before I tell you what I was saying to you is, Carl called me and he told me, listen Gayton, I just want to know what's your fee for speaking. How much are you going to charge us to come speak here? I said, well, let's do this. If it's going to the foundation, I'll come for free. He says, really? I said, you don't need to pay me a cent. He then went for it. He says, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. He said, I want to take advantage of you. I said, no, man, I'm sure, don't worry. And then he says, we're just trying to sort out the business class tickets because it's fairly expensive. I said, man, if we raise money, we should all feel the pinch. I'll fly economy class. Jesus, I know Germany is this far. But I want to say to Holger, I will fly economy class around the world to be part of this foundation. I just want to and the ladies must excuse me, but you know when your friend asks you to do something, you do it. So the ladies, please excuse my language. One of my best friends started a soccer school in South Africa. He started 2 years ago. We call it the Brazilian Soccer School. That school got a waiting list of more than 3,000 kids that's trying to get into the Brazilian Soccer School. And he took us to the airport. And when I took out, he said, gee, can I ask you a favor as my brother? I said, yeah. He said, you're going to Germany? I said, yeah. Now the reason why I asked me that is, after you guys beat Brazil, all the parents took their children out of the Brazilian soccer school. And he's now struggling to find people. And he can't make a German soccer school because there's already one just after the win. There was already 3-4 German soccer schools. And he said, gee, you're going to Germany? I said, yes. He says, can I ask you something as a friend? We've been going back for 25 years as friends. Can you tell the Germans? I said, fuck you. So I just want to say to my friends, I said, fuck you, Germans. And I had one of the funniest stories yesterday about that one. There's lots of jokes going around in our country about it. But one of the funniest things I heard was some German people were watching the game in Germany, and the wife went to the bathroom. And when she came back, Germany scored 3 goals. And she said, 3 goals! And the husband said, shh, go back to the bathroom. And I want to say to you, thank you so much. Germany is a great country. I really enjoyed my stay here. I hope I wasn't a nuisance, you driving me around. I really, there's one thing I want to take back to jump to Africa. It's your Autobahn. There's one thing I want to take back, it's your Autobahn. You guys are great people. I can understand why you won the World Cup. And I've met Germans. And don't be stressed about the 2 last games. You know, you can't win everything. I hope your losing streak continues, because I kind of like Brazilian soccer. I tell you guys, mess it up, follow us. But thank you very much. If there's anybody's got a question, it was nice speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Gayton. We'll take questions in a minute. I spent about a day and a half with Gayton now, and I must say I have learned in those couple of hours we spent together. I have learned so much from him. It started yesterday when he had rested a little bit. We walked through Frankfurt, and we were just looking for a restaurant to have coffee. And I couldn't believe it. The way he walks through a city and he sees business opportunities like around every corner. The speed at which he generates business ideas, I just couldn't follow. And I felt like he must think I'm dumb. I didn't understand what he was talking about. And then today, and by the way, this is what the other EOs last night felt as well, because when they were talking, they were just generating all these business ideas. And the same thing happened again this morning in prison when he saw the program. Immediately, he had an idea how this program can be made bigger and how we can, how this is a great start, but how we can make this into a big business. And just watching that happen was fascinating. And the most important lesson I learned from you is the way you judge people. I don't know if those of you who were in prison this morning noticed it, and the others, if you ever do, you will probably feel there's a little bit of rapport. And if you go back a second time as I have, there's a little bit more of rapport between you and the inmates. They're somewhat different, but they're people as well. But you'll never ever understand the language, and there'll never ever be the rapport as there is between a guy like Gayton, who's been in prison, and the others. And just watching them, the secret language that happens between those people that come from the same world, and understanding how Gayton reads people and how he tests them. It's amazing. I had the privilege of watching you, and I was amazed. I don't know if this is something you've always had in your life or whether you learned it, but I was really impressed. So I think he's also a very, very capable businessman and entrepreneur, and I'm sure whatever questions there are, you can teach all of us. So, any questions?
So then, Carl, I would like to ask you, how do you judge people? I mean, if you refer to this, if you see someone, what do you pay attention to?
You know what I've seen? Last night, somebody came to me, very arrogantly. His whole demeanor when he spoke about Africa, asking me, you know, there's something when this works for me. The guy came to me yesterday, said to me, "Oh, Africa. So you saw that this is about if you say you're going to make money, if you make money." I said, "Is there anything about me that shows you that I don't have money?" And the guy went in like, "Yeah, but I said, "Man, I got everything money can buy." This is what I said to him. I said, "But let me sit you down and let me explain to you." And then I found out that, so I was saying to my girlfriend, I said, "Yes, this guy is an asshole." Then I found out he wasn't even part of the talk. It was a guy that was bringing drinks in and out, and he as we say in my country, he picked up loose ends. So to answer your question, the first thing how I judge everybody is how you approach people. That is the first one. Do you approach people like they are your seniors? Or do you approach people like they are your juniors? I approach everyone as if they are my senior. And I judge people by that. I judge people when I go, if Carl is nice to me, he should be nice to me. He picked me up at the airport, but I judge him when you go to the restaurant. How nice is he to the guy that can do nothing for him? That's just a waiter. That's just helping him. A guy he might never meet again in his life. And that's how I judge humbleness. How I judge business, when it comes to me, it's your track record. You know, and for me the little things is he humble, is he respectful? That's the first thing I look for in any man. Does he respect women? Does he walk in front of women? Those things that I've been taught by people. And I judge you, like the example he was referring to was there's a guy that came and he told me he understands IT business. He was telling us in prison. Now I come from jail, I know one thing about prisoners. They make everything big. In jail, the guy will tell you, if you got 6 cars, he will put a 0 at the end. 60 cars. And while Carl was trying to test him, do you really know business? Do you really know IT? I asked him, sorry, why are you in jail? And he told me, and I said, he's there for drug dealing. I said, were you a dealer? No, I was catcher. They told me the story, and just there I saw what an honest guy is, because most prisoners will make their crime bigger than what it really was, or they will make it a no crime, and they will not take responsibility, and they will tell you he's innocent, and they will tell you it's everybody's fault. And it's something very hard to explain in a sentence, but I've got this thing, I went to Ukraine the other day, but what happened was I came from the golf course, and I was wearing my shorts, and I was late, and I couldn't change. I told my PA, pack my bag, you bring my bag and check it in, and I went. But it was cold, it was freezing, I think it was minus 20 degrees. And I jumped off the plane with this shorts. And this guy, of all the people, I think he was just waiting for me, like, sorry sir, come here. And he take me in a room. But I got my iPad. He says, sir, what are you doing in Ukraine? I said, I came for business. What business? I said, we're trying to buy a business here. He says, listen, don't mess with me. You coming here to look for a job. And the way the guy speaks to me, you coming here for a job? I said, no sir, I am not coming here for a job. Yeah, you want to be paid money and you take less than the locals. You guys are working for $200 per month and you take jobs from, and this guy is giving, I said, I'm not looking for a job. And this guy insisting, no, you go back, you're looking for a job. I said, sir, how much does a top job pay in this country? He says, why? I said, I just want to prove something to you. He says, if you have a top job here, you get like $2,000 US. I said, no, that's the insurance on my cars. If you just go through my iPad, this is my house, this is my car, this is my other car, this is me, this is me. And with everything he says, oh, I see. You come to give us jobs. So just for me, I can't stand people that think they're better than other people. That for me is just one thing. And that's how you judge people. People will be fine, they wouldn't be rude to me. But it's how he judges the guy, or how he speaks to the person, that he needs nothing of. He was laughing, I said to him yesterday, I said, I have traveled Africa. And all that I hear is business ideas that people pitch by our company. I said, I never thought I'd hear the worst business idea possible in Germany. And he could like, the worst business idea I heard in Germany. And this is the business idea. I'm not going to mention who did it, but one of the EU guys. He says, he's got a brilliant business idea. He says, listen, we can make money. You, me, and the German government. And this man is serious. I said, how? He said, you see, there's many prisoners in Germany. And if we ship them off to Africa, and you get the prison for them there, then the government is going to pay 20% of what they pay now for them. And they can eat anything. First I thought this man is joking. And then he started quoting statistics. Then I saw this man did his homework. I said, yeah, no, but yeah, thing is that, but then we'll have to join him in jail because that's against people's human rights. And this guy trying to convince me So we've got a friend in South Africa, his name is Michael. He came up once with the worst business idea. So I'm going to go tell him, Michael, you have just gotten somebody to teach you with the worst business idea. So to judge people, I can tell you, I have come in life. We have a nightclub chain in South Africa called ZAR, Z-A-R. This guy walks into our nightclub. I just want to show you, judging people. He's wearing a big hat. And the guy goes and he says, in the nightclub, he says, I would like to get in. We said, man, it's full. Man, I said to him, it's full. He says, man, listen. I said, 5 of you can get in. He says, then I'm leaving. I need all these people to get in, all 100. He says, I'll pay for it, no worry. Now look at this man, I'm like, you know, Mexico just won, let me put him in. And we pressed him in. And that guy starts spending money and the bill goes to 100,000 US dollars. He's buying the most expensive alcohol and we are now nervous. And we come like, sorry, we've got a policy. We didn't have that policy. We got a policy that you pay before, where you pay when you come to half your drinks. He said, that's fine. And he gives us his card. When I saw his card, I just said, no, it's fine, we'll pay you that. But that guy was the son of the richest man on earth, the son of Carlos Slim. None of us knew. He paid that bill for all the Mexicans that were there. He knew probably 1 or 2 of them. And what I'm trying to say to you, sometimes you will underestimate a person. Or you will, and that's how I judge people. How they speak to you, how they respect you when they meet you. Because the worst thing you can do is to be rude to a person that you do not know. Or to speak as a position of authority, unless that person works for you. I can tell you one thing. Holger is one of the, Bernard is one of the most humble people I've met. The most humble people. He speaks to people. Same as all the people I've met, I've been very fortunate. I spoke to some guys here. We had such great discussions. Talk about business. Humble people. And that's how I judge people. You look at the small things. People look at the big things of, oh, I've done this, I've done this. Yeah, we've all done stuff. I was telling them a story in prison today. I said, what transformed my life? Your life continuously changes. There's an old man, he's 67 years old. He taught me the greatest lesson. He changed my whole business model with one question. This old man's got the biggest contracts in South Africa, bus contracts. Got little buses. Another guy I know has got the biggest courier company in South Africa. They don't even know each other. And I thought, wow, if I buy the bus company and I buy this courier company, I can sell all these courier things and I can just buy trailers and put it on the buses because they all go the same route. And then I went to the courier company, I made them an offer, they accepted. I went to the bus company and I made them an offer and the guy said to me, old man, he says to me, you see, you don't understand. I want to sell my business to a man with a good heart that understands real business. And I said, what do you mean good heart? I got a good heart, sir. And I understand real business. He says, how would I know you understand real business? I said, maybe because I have made lots of millions that I can show you. And he said something that changed my whole business model. He says, exactly, we talk about millions. Millions mean nothing, man. We can all become millionaires. I've got millions myself. I'm a millionaire, he told me. He says, you tell me about your millions. All right, while we speak about millions, tell me how many millionaires have you made, not how many millions you've got. That's good business, he said. I couldn't answer him. He says, don't tell me how many millions you have. I got millions too. Tell me how many millionaires you've made. That is good business, helping people. And I said to him, sir, thank you. I'm not ready to get your company yet. Because he taught me the most important lesson that most of us have forgotten. We need to help other people. And we sometimes, with all these credit crunches, markets and stuff, and we forget that we are not alone on this earth. And And I am very proud to say that I will be of great assistance to the foundation because that old man taught me something. It's not how much you got, it's how much you help other people have. Yes, sir.
And first of all, thanks a lot. So when you came, like just going back in your
yes,
history, so when you came out, so you said it was very hard to find a job. Basically, you didn't have any chance to get a job. Like, what prevented you from like falling back in your old routine and like probably you still knew some of your old friends and just like going back into the old criminal
yes.
workspace and just falling back to that option? Like, what prevented you from doing that and instead staying on the good path?
Right. Everybody that sits here, everyone, there's something that you know you will never do. Everybody. Every person. I was on a speaking tour. And this couple kept on fighting. And I'm thinking, you guys have just met me. This husband and wife. They've been fighting. And they keep on asking me the most personal questions. And I thought I'm going to also ask them. I said, but how long have you guys been married? And he said, 40 years. I said, sorry sir, but you guys are fighting like a cat and a dog. How did you manage to stay together for 40 years fighting like this? And he said, what I'm going to say to you. He said, we fight, but this woman, I can't live without. When we fight, leaving each other is not an option. Yes, that was deep. He said, we fight, but leaving each other is not an option. Coming back to your question, it was hard. But for me, getting back into crime was not even an option. I did that all my life and it robbed me of my youth. I spent my whole 20s in prison. I missed out on the best years that a man can have. And going back, if you have it as an option, you will sure use it soon. It's like guys walking around with firearms. He says, no, this is just to protect myself. If you got a bar fight and you don't have a firearm, you will handle it a bit differently, like, guys, let me just go. But if you have a firearm, you'll be like, to hell with you guys too. Now the point I'm trying to make is that if you have it as an option, you're in jail. Were you ever in jail?
I've, like, with Maren, so just professionally? No.
Yes. But if you all guys in jail, how you know, coming back to the question what the gentleman asked me, how I know today, as I told him,